How's it going, guys, and welcome to the channel. You join me in central Otago for a trip with the Clutha 4-wheel drive club. There should be some stunning scenery on offer this weekend, so stay tuned to see how we get on. Quick note that I need to add, the wind noise that you could hear in the intro is going to be present in a lot of the clips in the video. There's not really a lot I can do about it, but I'm going to do all I can. Hope you enjoyed the video. Alrighty, so we have just cruised up the road to the starting track where everyone is airing down. We are first going to be heading up towards Mount Buster and Mount Kyburn. Should be some very scenic views, like I mentioned. Hopefully once all of this lovely cloud burns off and we get a bit more of the blue skies. Yeah, should be a nice cruisy trip, and we'll get into it. Righto guys, so what we're passing through currently is known as the Mount Buster diggings. Basically it's just a very wide expanse of just particularly white rock left over from old gold mining operations. Awesome place to visit, but unfortunately is at risk of getting shut down due to people just trying to drive up the hills, leaving four-wheel drive tracks everywhere and giving people a bad name. So if you are in New Zealand and do choose to come here, please respect the environment, because we really don't want to lose access to such an awesome place just because a few people choose to be idiots. As we cruise up towards Tailings Hut, the convoys come across a vehicle that's broken down. It's an IFS four-wheel drive that appears to have broken something in the front end, so we've stopped to see if we can lend a hand. Alright, so what it turned out it was the tie rod where it had joins to the knuckle had actually sheared off, so we've managed to get that all sorted, but most importantly, the sun's come out. How good! Look at this! the wind, but what we've just behind me is a Hut Creek hut, imaginatively named, I should say. We were intending on this being our destination for the night, but given the time of day and the fact that it is quite a small hut and there's not an awful lot of room for camping around it, we're going to push on to Tailings Hut and aim to spend the night there. So on a slight change of plans, we headed back to the Tailings Hut, but some quad bikers had turned up in the meantime and they had taken all of the available bunks, which is all good. So we cruised about an hour up the track to a new hut where we are going to set up camp for the night. So this, which I will show you very shortly, is the Ida Valley Railway Hut. The Ida Railway Hut was originally a railway station in the Ida Valley. At the end of the 1970s, with the help of a couple of bulldozers, it was relocated to where it sits now to be used as extra musterers' quarters. Nowadays it is a Department of Conservation hut and is available to anyone to use and enjoy. Righto guys, well it is now the start of day 2. It's turned into a beautiful day that we've woken up to, so hopefully this good weather holds throughout the rest of it. We're not entirely sure what the plan is today. Some people have to be leaving at the end of today to get home for work tomorrow, and some of us have got the day off and are staying on. I think what we're going to do is just have a look around the area, see some of the tracks, potentially head over to the Old Man Range. Not really sure, we'll see what happens.
Your phone charge level.
This hut that we have just reached is Chimney Creek Hut. Whilst there, one of our group called a local farmer whose property we would have to pass through in order to drop down off the top of the ridge towards Omarama, and for a small fee per vehicle he was more than happy to allow us to pass through his fields. The video that you're about to see coming up shows us dropping down that ridge through a series of very tight switchbacks, but it was an awesome piece of country to be able to go through. Had never had the chance to go through before due to it being private property, but thanks to the local connections, it was an awesome opportunity. Righto guys, so following all those switchbacks down the hill, we've just been following the river down by these river flats. All of this is private land. We gave the farmer a call before we crossed over the fence into his property just to make sure that it was all good. Having been given permission, we're just following the river down through his land all the way out to the main road.
this gate open or shut, Rob? Door's open. Sweet.
Righto guys, so after a quick pit stop in Omarama, where I poured an absolutely eye-watering amount of petrol into my thirsty V8, we have decided to head up into the Omarama saddle for our remainder of the day. It's heading up the west branch, and I don't actually know our destination, but I guess we'll see where we end up. Seems to be a theme on this trip. Alrighty guys, welcome to the latest stop on Matt's Otago hut tour. This is Top Hut. As Top Hut was full, we decided to keep heading on down the valley until we reached the next hut, which was Boundary Hut. That was also inhabited by other four-wheel drivers, so we decided to keep on heading down until we reached Homestead Camp, where we decided to spend the night. Alrighty guys, that has concluded the day of wheeling, and yeah, just a nice wee look at this specimen. Nice wee open campground to set up camp for the night. Well, it is the morning of day 3 of the trip, and our group has shrunk considerably in size. As I mentioned previously, a lot of members needed to leave at the end of day 2 in order to make it back to work on time. That's not going to stop the rest of us, however, as we have plenty more things to go and do and see, so we'll get into it. Alrighty, we have just pulled into the lake by the little town of St. Bathans. Just going to grab some food and fuel and stuff like that. I believe the plan for the rest of the day could go one of two ways. We are either going to head up towards the Serpentine Church, or we are going to head over towards the Old Man Range and potentially up to the obelisk. I guess we will, once again, see where we go. There's always one, eh? After a stop in Omakau for fuel and a pie, we decided to head up through Thompson Saddle. The weather was absolutely beautiful and gave us some stunning views as we cruised on through towards Old Stone Hut. After a lunch stop at Old Stone Hut, we headed up into the Dunstan Mountains and started heading south towards Mount Aiti. The summit of Mount Aiti is only a few hundred metres away from New Zealand's most inland point, so at the time that these clips were filmed, I'm going to say that our group was the most inland group of people in the country. Righto guys, so we've just reached the end of the road as far as we can drive on conservation land. Beyond here it turns into private farmland and you have to get permission to drive. We are sitting on the top of Mount Aiti and check out this for a view. So for reference for where in the country we are, if you follow this valley here down, you will get to Cromwell and Lake Dunstan, and if you go beyond that range by that lake and follow that down, you will find yourself at Wanaka. After a stop in Cromwell to pour some more of my life savings into my fuel tank, the convoy once again heads out. We are now heading up the Carrick range, where we're going to head along the top till it meets the Old Woman range, and head down the western side to where we're staying the night at the Nevis crossing. As we head up the Carrick range, we pass the ruins of old gold miners' cottages and also the young Australian water wheel. This water wheel is particularly noteworthy due to the water race that feeds it. This water race picks up creeks on the western side of the Old Woman range, follows the contours of that mountain range north until it crosses over Duffer's Saddle, and then continues down the eastern side of the Carrick range till it meets the water wheel. Well, there we go. We've reached camp at the end of another day. Awesome day. Some scenic views along the tops. Beautiful view of the remarkables. And yeah, time to set up camp. Righto guys, well today is the final day of our time away. I believe the plan for today is to head back up behind us onto the Old Woman Range, head along it for a bit, drop down, cross over to the Old Man Range, up to the obelisk, and then down the other side back to the main road. Should be an awesome trip, some country we've never seen before, so yeah, let's get into it. Yummy. Righto guys, well this is the Old Woman hut that we have reached. As you can see by the fact that there is a Mitzi Challenger here, it's really not a hard track, absolutely beautiful scenery, but yeah, as far as the four-wheel driving goes, not super challenging, so absolutely come up here, give it a go. Check the weather of course, it does get pretty snowy and cold up here in winter, can get stuck and snow drifts are an issue, but yeah, this time of year, absolutely beautiful drive, so if you've got a rig, absolutely one to check out. Well, that mountain range that you can see in the distance is the Old Woman Range, where we have just come from. We have just crossed over to the Old Man Range and are currently parked next to Hyde Rock, where if you want to go on a short walk, you can, I believe, look straight down a number of meters to the main road. We're not going to do that because we are heading north towards the obelisk. Well, there you have it guys, we have reached the obelisk on the top of the Old Man Range, which means that we have reached the end of our trip. I did record a proper outro here, however the wind was so bad that I literally could not hear the words I was saying when I was sat here editing, so you've got voiceover Matt instead. I hope you guys didn't mind the slightly different editing style in this video. With so many clips ruined by wind noise, I was kind of forced to do something a little bit different, so I decided to experiment and see what I could come up with. The map on your screen now is an overall route that we took throughout the trip. I can't remember exactly how many kilometers it was, but I do know that my Land Rover used an awful lot of fuel and that it definitely hurt my bank account. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you've enjoyed the editing style, leave a comment letting me know what you thought of it, what I could do better next time, and make sure you share the video around your mates as well. But with that being said, we'll see you in the next one.